What's up, friend? Imagine you could adjust your game plan to almost any situation at the table. If that flexibility came with a risk, would you take it? Today we're back with another 4-player game, and this time we're playing the Unnamed Casino deck. About a year ago I won an online creation rights league with an earlier version of this deck. You can watch the video on the TCG Webshop YouTube channel and in deck analysis on the BCN Crisis YouTube channel. The original idea comes from Bill Troxel from the USA, so a big shout out to Bill, my favorite VTES brain from across the pond. The tournament version and the deck from this video are my own takes on Bill's concept. I still think the deck you are watching has some room for improvement, so I won't be giving away all my ideas about how it could evolve in the future. Let's jump into the game. Today we are facing familiar opponents from my online playgroup. Lech, who's sitting first, is playing Ministry. Then I'm with my Unnamed, Peitsa is third with Lasombra, and Bram is sitting cross table with one of his decks of choice, Banu Hakim. We are missing a BambamBanu Master Discipline card in our hand, but apart from that, we already have the remaining pieces of the combo. Since we are playing 8 BambamBanu cards and there are only 55 cards left in the library, we should draw the card we need at any moment. We are starting pretty well. The combo goes off, and I decide to prepare for what I expect to be the biggest challenge, fighting Bram. I go for Annazir, who has the disciplines I need, +1 bleed and an awesome ability that I use right away. Not against Bram at first, but against my prey, burning his hunting ground. Annazir is here mainly to steal all the Banu Hakim toys, I mean magnums. There is one more vampire in our Crypt who can do the same, Strileka, and I'm planning to get her into play as well. Now let's go back to my deck for a second. Why is it called Casino? Because every time we go for the combo, we are a little bit gambling. The deck revolves around a BambamBanu, Soul Gem of Atreus, and the Great Beast. Every time we crack the combo, there is roughly a 3% chance that the card we reveal won't be the Unnamed. But with 1,616 copies of the Unnamed and only 50 other vampires, we should be able to repeat the combo consistently. Realistically, we should be able to do it about 3 to 5 times in a game. But if we are unlucky and the card we draw from the Soul Gem effect isn't the Unnamed, well, the game can go downhill very, very quickly. When everything works, we usually name Obfuscate, Protean and Temporis as the 3 disciplines for the Great Beast. Because the Great Beast can act on the same turn it's called upon by the Unnamed, we can immediately start summoning our A-team. Depending on the situation, we can summon bleed support with useful abilities like non-UDs, bring out vampires that help us deal with allies like Xeper, or deal with equipment and locations like Annazir. Or if we are under pressure, we can simply contest an opponent's key vampire from groups 5 and 6. Once the combo starts, we need to make sure our actions succeed, and afterwards we need enough resources to keep all those freshly summoned vampires active. So we play Heidelberg, Giant's Blood and the Coven. Peitsa is playing a combat version of V5 Lasombra. The deck has a solid reaction package with blocks and bounce, and action package built around govern and the not so often seen horseshoes, which often serve as rush actions that you want to block. The deck is happy to get blocked and make use of its potence-based long-range combat package, which contains more than 30 combat cards. Lech is trying one of the most fun builds available, a Ministry Spell of Life deck with an Anarch angle. The deck wants to play 5 copies of Spell of Life in 5 turns and flood the table with allies. Sitting second, we are quite happy to have a Predator who, at least during the first turns of the game, won't interrupt our plans or pressure our pool. Lech barely survives Bram's turn and starts his own turn with only 2 pool, but with 4 copies of Spell of Life on the table. If he can find the 5th copy, he'll have the Unmasking and 6 new allies that could maybe save him from being ousted next turn. But even beyond that, resolving 5 copies of Spell of Life is an achievement on its own, and not many players have managed it. Lech starts digging for cards and uses dreams to draw more. Unfortunately, lucky isn't lucky for Lech this time, and the deck fails to provide the 5th copy. Lech is about to be ousted, and I need to oust as well so I can build a little extra pool cushion before my one-on-one game against Bram. For the last time, I ask my prey whether he'd be interested in a deal that allows him to go for Bram uninterrupted by me. But he refuses. He doesn't want to serve my purpose and just want to play the game. I completely respect it. But I need to then oust him, so I do it. I do it by bleeding and in the meantime stealing one of the guns from Banu. We gain 8 pool and wait to see how Bram will deal with Lech. Lech fought bravely, but fell to the ongoing pressure from Banu Hakim. And now he's officially ousted, and the one-on-one game between the Unnamed and Banu Hakim begins. One of the key moments of the game happens here. Bram resolves the first set of Ashurs first. Both our decks are very short and rely heavily on reusing cards from the Ash heap, so Bram getting the boost first is extremely important. We were so close. This turn, we managed to summon Strileka, another minion that can steal equipment. However, even with that, it might not be enough to win the game. Even without the guns, there's a swarm of minions behind us, generating almost as much pool as we bleed away, while bleeding us for more than we can recover. We need to resolve our own Ashurs to keep some level of control. Bram is playing a deck that reflects his general view of the game, or at least how I understand it. The more minions you have that can perform the same or similar actions, the more consistently your deck gets to do what it was designed to do. That seems pretty logical. You can see this philosophy in popular archetypes based on politics like Clown Car or Waters/Child/Progeny builds based around Conbooms, or in bleed decks like computer hacking. Bram likes applying the same concept to other archetypes as well, and here he does it with combat. Swarm decks is not a new idea, but Bram is relentless in trying to make it work with different clans and different cards. The deck you are watching plays a lot of Hakim Low leadership, which grants 2 pull to the controller of the oldest Banu Hakim on the table. The deck also plays guns, rush actions, and Ashur tablets. The deck needs the extra pull to keep influencing more and more minions until it simply overwhelms the opponent with 1,000 tiny cuts. While it isn't designed to beat dedicated combat decks, it can overpower decks that aren't prepared for combat, just like many other combat decks can. The difference is that this one has a level of flexibility that most combat decks don't have. And once again, Bram is faster. Our hopes start to fade as he resolves the second set of Ashurs first. This game makes me think I should probably be running Bleeding Divine in this deck. The deck bloats consistently and relies heavily on Ashurs, and Bleeding Divine could be a real game changer and ensure we actually can get the Ashurs resolved. Nevertheless, Bram, who was close to decking out earlier, is now fully back in control. We managed to summon Undele. The idea behind Undele in this deck is that with the vote lock we already have, he can return minion cards from our Ash heap to our hand. That would be great. If we actually had any minion cards in the Ash heap that could change the curse of the game. So this is really more a sign of desperation and also a chance to show you one of the deck strategies on the video, rather than play that actually changes the game. Unnamed Casino is a challenging deck to pilot, and definitely not one I'd recommend for beginners. Thankfully, my opponents were very patient and I've cut out a lot of the longer thinking turns, so you won't have to wait while I try to figure out the correct play. One final thing. This deck was redesigned only to play online, although I do know at least one completely insane person who actually bought enough copies of the Unnamed to play it in the real life. After Bram resolved his second set of Ashurs, the game was going only one way. Even with Golconda here and there, the only thing I can really do is prolong my agony. A few more bleeds later, Banu manages to clear the bank and closes the casino for the night.